And if they want to share that little piece of the adventure, that's great. If they enjoy it, they're going to want to offer you something in order to attract your attention and retain that closeness. And how do women do this? Typically, they give you sex. That's right. Big dog. Run with the big dogs.
Big dog. Okay, let's move on now to talking about banging married women. Let's get into some of the basics of this. First of all, why should we be banging married women? What's the advantages of banging? First of all, aren't you a pig for violating the sacred institution of marriage? 1, 2, 3, boo!
Well, actually, Ross, it's interesting, but I don't violate the sanctity of marriage at all. They do.
That's right. Because you're not married.
That's right. That's right. Okay? I'm not holding a gun to their pretty little head and saying, I want you to hop up and down on this, and oh, by the way, break your marriage vow. No. Okay? Instead, I'm carrying on a casual conversation, and if they get it into their head that they want to fuck me, well, there must be something wrong with what they're doing.
So let's talk a minute about your perspective about married women. What makes married women such good targets, and why do you enjoy it so much?
Well, what might you like? Okay, you might, for example, like to have absolutely great sex and then send her home. Okay, this might be appealing to you as well. You might like to have a level of enthusiasm and appreciation in your sex partner that goes far beyond what you're going to find with your average single girl. You might like to be in a situation where you find yourself being compared against an unknown quantity that is not terribly attractive anymore, as opposed to being compared to the ideal hypothetical man that every single girl thinks that she's going to be someday and she truly deserves, as opposed to you. Okay? And you might find that there's just an enormous amount of bored married women wandering around, and no matter what you do, no matter where you go, they just keep popping up right in front of you. And it's also commitment-free. And pretty much disease-free. Married women are the largest pool of, disease-free, commitment-free sex available.
But he has this,
There are some things that can arise, yes. Okay. You want to be careful about who you go play with. Okay? I was talking to one of your fellow students earlier about how I discovered one night that fucking policemen's wives is not a good idea. Okay? I mean, they have large guns, they know how to use them, and they under certain conditions they are encouraged to use them. Okay? Not a good idea. Okay? You don't want to mess with a married woman who's got a deeply troubled marriage and she's looking for some kind of out. She's going to fixate on you as her escape ticket, whether or not she wants to use you in any fashion whatsoever after she gets out. You don't have one. Well, you test them. Okay? When you're carrying on your casual conversation, and you find out, oftentimes when I'm talking to a woman and she starts to feel herself responding to me, then she'll automatically raise an objection, but I'm married. Okay? And I say, that's great. I've been married before, and in my personal case, it didn't work out for a variety of reasons, but I still respect the institution of marriage, and I know that when you are married to someone who gives you exactly what you want, just the way you want it, when you're married to that man of your dreams, that's a fabulous thing, isn't it? Okay? And just start talking about it. If there is a problem, and she is interested in you, she'll tell you what the problem is. Okay? Or it depends, okay? If she's bored, she's an ideal prospect. Okay? If he beats her, or she's looking to get divorced, something like that, then no, I don't mess with her. He's actually looking for people who's somewhat bored. Or you
find married women are easier than single women.
Yes, actually, I do. Okay? Because they have a high initial resistance, and once I completely bypass that, then they have no defense. They rely on the fact that they're married. So this is a magic shield. I'm married. Okay? Whereas
Yeah, I disagree with it. I agree with the married thing. I disagree with the Beyonce thing. Because a woman's getting married. Every girl's dream is to get married. And it's sort of that part where she's engaged and she can pick all the little knickknacks and all that. And I don't think I can compete with that.
In my experience is, well, you don't want to compete with it. You never want to compete directly without your boyfriend. You don't want to set up an either or because you have a chance of losing. You know? Losing, forget it. I mean, that's not a goal. That's not a possibility in my world. And instead, I find that women who are about to get married, even when they are totally in the grip of selecting their China pattern, okay, are thinking about how, well, man, for the rest of my life, I haven't really had that wild, romantic, totally insane fling yet. Okay? But sometimes they can find that type of future just right in front of them.
The difference in psychology is this, that with a single girl who's not married and not engaged, she can always have the fantasy that Mr. Right is going to come along. Okay? The married woman knows the game is over and that's never going to happen. So all you have to do, you don't have to be Mr. Right. You just have to be better, more interesting, more exciting than Mr. Boring.
That's absolutely
She's
right.
stuck with it.
She's comparing you to boring Bob, who's asleep on the sofa and in boxers while the basketball game on TV.
You'd be much more exciting than him, certainly, but you still have to get that excitement over the inertia or over moral boundaries. Raise it over the moral boundaries. That's easy.
Yeah. Something I have found is that a lot of women have a very interesting outlook on moral boundaries. Okay? Women are able to compartmentalize their mind in ways that men don't do. Okay? And if they can have some kind of wild, incredible, exotic adventure that doesn't mess up the meal ticket, okay, well, so long as nobody's really hurt by it, okay, they can go ahead and do it. And they'll call all their girlfriends about how they're banging me in Ramada, okay, and all going, ooh, that sounds interesting, okay, and all the guys like you are out, hauling home the paycheck and watching the next game, okay, it works for everybody.
A lot of those sex balls are created for the connection of women and children, and as such, they see themselves as others. Do you find that to be true?
No, I think that a lot of the structures I run across were there to protect women because women are treated as commodities. Okay? And they resent this. Okay?
They're not commodities?
They can be bought and sold. Traded. But what I found most effective, and this is one of my great epiphanies, okay, is when I was on the road to Galilee and I saw a vision. Okay? And what the vision was that over half of all the books sold in America are romance novels written for women. Over 50% of all the books sold are romance novels. That means computer science, travel, any possible topic falls in the other 49%. Half of it deals with romantic fantasies of women. Now, why are they all buying and reading these books like they're gobbling down popcorn? Okay? Could it be because there are things that they yearn for that they are not finding in their everyday life? The answer, of course, is yes. And they understand that reality means boring Bob for the rest of your life. It means plumbing bills. It means little Sally has the group. Okay? They understand and accept that. But they still want romantic fantasy. Okay? And when they find, for whatever reason, for whatever mysterious reason, that there's this window of opportunity that opens up in front of the doorway. Okay? And there is a chance. I knock on doors all the time. I don't know if I've ever through that door. Okay? And there is a chance for them to feel that thrill, to have that incredible experience, to get that close and share that much with a man who understands them so completely. They go for it. And the best part, the absolute best part, is they understand that because it's living out a romantic fantasy, this is not how life really is. And so, of course, it's not really meant to be. It's not something that's going to go on. There's going to be that bittersweet parting where you cry those tears and then it's over and you treasure the experience for the rest of your life. And I'm being a neighbor. Yeah.
I would check the video pay package. No, the we explain all this word for word, and you can take it home and see all the gestures. The video pay package that makes it seem like you have me as your 24-hour on-call get-paid assistant, and Mark and Glenn too. Because Glenn is also on those videos revealing every secret. You mean the videos that we only have 20 sets left to purchase this weekend? Never mind, go ahead.
You're running across anyone that all their values are neither one of all their values are met. Listen, if you run across someone who is in love with her man and she's happy and he's doing his job and he's meeting all of her criteria, you do not stand a single fucking chance. Have you come across anyone like that? Oh yeah. Yeah. There are people out there with very happy marriages. And this is where my ethics come in. I know you're waiting for me to say that. I won't mess with a happy marriage. That is wrong. Okay?
So that's like saying I won't mess with the Loch Ness Monster.
Think about it. The modern statistics is over half all those marriages are going to go into the tank. Right. Okay? So, half of the married women in America are fair game. Okay? I can accept those.
I was curious about that because I know with Chris who have a lot of values and so on, and you share today, and I'm so out with you.
Yeah. Okay, and you know, this something that dawned on me as I was going through the basic research for this approach is I used to carry this sense of resentment around about how I would know these beautiful, wonderful, sweet, warm, loving women that I didn't get. Some other guy got them. Okay? This is my way to get a full and fair second crack at them.
Let me say something else. One of the things that Mark will do is one of his initial steps when he's dealing with a married woman is he will float trial balloons. He will test the waters and see where she's really at with it. I hear it's in my computer, so I kind of memorize it. He does a little pattern something like this. Finds out they're married. Into the conversation goes, he says, I think it's so interesting. My insight into all of this is that women select men to fill different roles. But no man can give everything a woman needs. But just as there are some men who will play the role of caretaker, provider, father, so there are other men who are willing and able to play the role of conqueror, seducer, protector. Well, she'll turn to the first type for shelter, sustenance, housing. She'll turn to the second type for the adventure and the passion, the romance she'll cherish the rest of your life. And each season will. They're not happy. It's a great initial task.
And when I love it, they do think this way. I mean, the ideal pitch is being congruent with something she already believes. You just mark it a little bit to make it refer to.
And by the way, I think it's sad that men don't do that. That men don't pick women to fill different roles. Because most of the role you want to pick is someone who turns around and look at and will talk your brains out. I think you're short-selling yourself by doing that. Simply because you can get that and more. I think there's something to be learned. God, I'm biting my tongue until it bleeds by saying this, but there's something to be learned by the way women think about this. What? I can barely hear you. You couldn't hear me? I was not loud enough? I said there's something to be learned about the way women think about this, because most men, the only role we want women to fill is someone who looks good, gives us a hard on, and will fuck our brains out. I'm saying you're selling yourself short. That's the only need you want filled. Pick someone, find someone, design someone who fills a lot more of your needs.
As I was going through and looking into this fascinating topic, I started developing a personality profile and a process that goes along with it. Okay, and this is a work in progress. It's going to be part of the book. I may or may not pass it out to you guys. I don't know. We're going to be talking about it later on. But one of the things I do is I've noticed that in doing trial and error, okay, and accumulating a sizable sample so that I can start to generalize out the specifics, I look at what are the personality characteristics about the women who are most likely to follow along and buy into this sort of approach, okay? And then I've developed the process in incorporating things that you've learned or things you have access to. How do I do this, including things like handwriting analysis? I always knew that handwriting analysis worked, and a lot of people believe in it, because I used to do this over in Europe, where basically you can't get a job without providing a handwriting sample. They really believe in it over there. Here it's treated as something kind of mumbo-jumbo, okay? But what I found is there are key personality traits about a woman who is committed and yet looking for something else, something more fulfilling, okay? A deeper experience in her life, okay? And I use handwriting analysis to screen, okay? One of the things I'm doing right now, and this is so effective, I'm just deeply ashamed of myself, is I'm interviewing for a personal assistant in my company, okay? And what I do is I have them go on just the stock kind of thing, which I don't care about the content of, because typically those things aren't good predictors on how someone's going to perform anyway. But I want the signature, and then, just on the spur of the moment, I want them to turn it over and write out in their own words why it is they think they'd really like to work under me. Okay? And they end up giving me about 6 sentences of their handwriting, and I can go through and I can look for, I'm looking for intuitive women, I'm looking for women who have unfulfilled physical desires, or are strong need for physical activity, I'm looking for...
Why? My girlfriend... and people...
Do you? And she had another one about thoughts.